crafty people, thank you for watching today's video. This is day 11 of my March Madness series where I will be posting a video every single day. So here is today's card. It is using the Quiet Meadow stamp set out of the annual catalog. So let's get started. Okay, so I have a 5.5 by 8.5 piece of crumb cake. I'm just going to fold that in half to make the card base. Then I have a 5.25 by 4-inch Cajun Craze, and then a 5-inch by 3 3/4 basic white. So this is what we will be stamping on. So I'm going to set those off to the side. I am going to be using the big flower out of this stamp set, and I will be stamping that in Old Olive. Find a flat spot on my surface. Just going to be really gentle and try not to rock it. Oh, went a little too gentle. So I am going to grab my paper piercing mat to get a little flatter. I need to get a new cutting mat underneath this wood surface. It's rippled just a little bit, so I do tend to have some issues sometimes. But anyway, you can always flip over your paper and try again. I am not going to edit this out because I want it to be as real as possible, and this is real life. Sometimes your stamps don't always turn out the way that you'd hoped, and you gotta stamp again. So while that's drying, before we color, I will stamp in Crumb Cake the little dots around here. It's kind of hard to see in the video. I'll try to put it up a little closer. So there are some dots down here just to give a little something to the card. So I'm pretty sure I stamped off. So I'm going to grab just a scrap piece of paper just to stamp off real quick. Yep, I did. I definitely stamped off because that's pretty light. And then I am just going to be gentle, and if these ones smudge up, it's not as much of a big deal. Again, very, very light, just to add a little bit of texture to the card. So cute. All right. So then I am using the watercolor pencils. I'm going to leave that open for a second. Just to fill in. I wanted this card to be pretty light and not super dramatic. Almost like a vintage feel to it. So just adding some extra color into the stems and the leaves. And then I am using, that was Old Olive, the watercolor pencil. And then I'm using the Cajun Craze for the petals. I'm not going to add water to here, just the markers are a little too bright for a card like this. Well, a little too bright for what I had in mind, I should say. All right, so then I am going to take my large blending brush, because now we have two different sizes. I'm going to use the large one. Just going to add a little ink to it. off on a side piece of paper. I'm just going to swirl around a little bit. That way I can see how much ink I have. I don't need the paper piercing mat anymore, so I am going to go on my scrap paper, and I'm going to start off the page and just start circling. I'm just going to build up some color. Again, I want this to be sort of a vintage look to it. I don't think that I added enough ink on the first card. You can always add more, but you can't take it away. So I was a little sparing on the first one. It's not quite as dramatic as I would like to, so I'm going to add a little more on this card. I love these blending brushes. I am so glad Stampin' Up! Brought them into our catalog. They are so nice. Definitely a lot smoother than the sponges that we used to have, the little teeny tiny sponges. They were good for certain things, but definitely not blending cardstock like this. So then I am going to move my magnets first off. So I put little washi tape on them just to make it a little easier to pull them off, because these magnets are so strong and it's hard to get your fingers underneath it sometimes. So the reason that I am using the Stamparatus is because after doing all that work on the card, even though it only took a couple minutes, but I would not want to restart over because I got my sentiment crooked on the card. So I am going to use my Stamparatus to get the perfect placement. So then I am using Cajun Craze for this. Make sure it's real straight. And then I'm going to go again because I want it to be pretty bright. All right. Close that up. Pull this out, and then we can start playing. Also, with the sample card that I did, I felt like it was kind of missing something, and I didn't realize what that was. So I'm going to add some linen thread to see if that makes a difference. So I'm going to go right above the sentiment, just wrap it around a couple times, and tie a bow. And hopefully, alrighty, we are back. I ran out of space on my memory card, so I had to pop in another one. I have a 64 gigabyte memory chip for my camera, because I actually have the camera not like my iPhone for these videos. And it ran out because I also have all my wedding footage on there as well. So I am not going to delete that. I'm going to leave that on the chip. I need to get another one for these videos. But I thought that 64 gigabytes was a pretty big chip, but apparently it's not as big as I thought it was. So I don't know where it cut off in the video, but here we are. Just adding a layer to the Cajun Craze. Alright, I definitely like the bow more than not having the bow. Added a little bit of something, make it a little less boring. Not that there's anything wrong with this, just to add a little something else. All right. So then I am going to use some of the gold brushed metallic adhesive back dots. I don't think there's an embellishment that I haven't like absolutely loved. These are another one of the ones that I just know I'm going to end up buying more of because they're so pretty. Alrighty, here is your card of the day. Thank you so much for watching. If you have not already, please subscribe to my channel. I'm going to be putting out a video every single day in March, so you don't want to miss any of those, so make sure that you subscribe. Also, if you want to sign up for my newsletter, there's a link down below. Thank you so much for watching.